ارتفع عدد شهداء العمليات الإسرائيلية في غزة إلى 13.
According to medical sources in several areas in Gaza, the number of Palestinians martyred by Israeli military operations has risen to 13. This number includes martyrs from Al-Qassam brigades, the military wing of Hamas, and an Al-Quds brigades, the military wing of the Islamic Jihad movement. One of the martyrs, Raid Fanuna, was a commander in the Al-Quds brigades. He was martyred when his car was hit by a mortar shell east of the Gaza Strip. The rest were martyred during an Israeli incursion in Huza, in eastern Khan Yunis. Joining us from Gaza, our reporter Hiba Akila. Hiba, what is the latest news concerning the Israeli incursion?
Yes,
the Israeli military machine withdrew from eastern Gaza City after the incursion had taken place. They are still, however, in Huza, southeastern Gaza. 13 people were martyred and 50 others were injured in southern Gaza and in Gaza City during this Israeli incursion.
Israeli incursions, martyred and injured people. This is how one can describe the situation in Gaza. People were awakened by 2 Israeli incursions in eastern Gaza City and in Khaza'a, southeast of the Gaza Strip. The Israeli army justified these military operations as an attempt to stop armed Palestinian activists who allegedly were planning to carry out military operations against Israeli targets east of the Gaza Strip along the Israeli borders.
They took our land, they took our properties, they took Palestine, they took all of our country. They even do not want to let us live in this small strip of land. There are millions of us who are living here. Look at our children. We fled together with them. They are very scared. We had to take one boy to the hospital because he had a panic attack. A girl also had a panic attack. Even me, an old lady, I can barely cope.
Dozens of martyred and injured Palestinians fell during the Israeli operation in Khuza'a and in eastern Al-Shuja'iyya. Some of them were resistance fighters who confronted the Israeli military machine. The resistance fighters reiterated that they will continue on the path of resistance and demanded that all Palestinian factions unite in order to end the Israeli occupation of Palestinian lands.
We confirm that these attacks will only increase our strength and determination to confront this criminal enemy. This morning, the enemy raided citizens' homes in Khuza'a area. Special Israeli forces were accompanied by collaborators who were telling the enemy about the locations of the Mujahideen. Thank God, the Mujahideen from Al-Quds brigades managed to launch an RPG at a Zionist tank.
The Israeli military escalation in Gaza increased concerns that the Israeli occupation will further use the Palestinian division to achieve its goals in the Palestinian territories.
Of course, Israel is trying to take advantage of the internal Palestinian situation to attack the resistance and its infrastructure. It wants to target the Palestinian people and settle scores with them. But I think that our Palestinian people will unite and confront Israel, and we will retaliate harshly against the Zionist entity.
I think that this is an Israeli-American plan. It shows the terror practices used against our people, their struggle and resistance.
The Palestinians are concerned that Israel will take advantage of the recent developments at the political level and on the ground to target Gaza. Meanwhile, Israel may go ahead with its threat to use the military option. Hiba Akila, Al Jazeera, Al-Shuja'iyya neighborhood in east of Gaza City.
أيضا وفي خطوة مهمة أصدر الرئيس محمود عباس مرسوما يقضي.
In an important development, the Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas issued a presidential decree outlining all unlicensed weapons in the Palestinian territories and confiscating all weapons, ammunition, and explosives which pose a danger to public order. In his presidential decree, Abbas ordered ending the phenomenon of armed groups. The decree also banned militias, military groups, or non-official groups, regardless of their affiliation. Earlier, the Palestinian president issued a decree immediately ordering the Ministry of Interior to look into the licensing of some of these local organizations and their adherence to the rule of law.
وينضم إلينا من رام الله المستشار السياسي.
Joining us from Ramallah is Nimr Hamad, the political advisor to the Palestinian president. Welcome, Mr. Hamad. To comply with this executive order, some groups affiliated with the Quds brigades in the West Bank announced that they will be surrendering their weapons. Why aren't there any points of understanding about this decree, especially since the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigades was formed after the Second Intifada to confront the occupation?
يعني من الواضح تماما أنه هذه الظاهرة أصبحت الآن تشكل.
It is very clear that this phenomenon has become a burden on the Palestinian people. The phenomenon where any group organizes and gives itself a name must end. When we say that there is only one unified security force, we mean that these weapons must be in the hands of the security agency. In our past experience, it has been proven that when any Palestinian group, no matter how small it is, decides to open a battlefront on its own, all the Palestinians are affected and pay a heavy price. When anyone launches a missile, the reaction results in a large number of people being martyred or injured.
ولكن هناك من سيفسر ربما هناك من سيفسر هذه الخطوة.
Mr. Hamad, some may interpret this step as an indication that Fatah has given up the armed struggle.
يعني أولا بالحقيقة هذا الأمر بالبرنامج الانتخابي للأخ الرئيس أبو مازن كان واضح.
First, the campaign agenda of our brother President Abu Mazen was made clear when he said one unified security force and one authority. Even when Hamas dominated the government, the president held the same policy. We would always insist that this ceasefire be honored by all sides in order to force Israel to honor it. Regarding the weapons of the resistance and other weapons that are not used for resistance, I think this terminology should not mislead anyone. If we use the term the weapons of the resistance, then what do we call the weapons of the Palestinian Security Agency?
عندما يقال سلاح المقاومة، إذن صلاح أجهزة الأمن الفلسطينية ماذا؟
But these forces were formed under the shadow of the legitimate security agency and with the blessing of the late President Yasser Arafat.
معلش هذا أمر تغيرت الظروف نهائيا تماما.
That's okay. The situation has completely changed. The late President Abu Ammar would often condemn suicide operations that took place. There is a state of chaos in the Palestinian streets. Now we must end this state of chaos. Previously, we were not able to impose this order because of the situation in Gaza, which was exploited by Hamas and other groups. Today, we can impose order in the West Bank.
Israel is widening its military operations in the Palestinian territories. Israeli troops have moved into the West Bank town of Nablus, where they clashed with Fatah militants. This despite Israel's support for the Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, who is based in the West Bank. The new Palestinian Prime Minister is accusing Israel of trying to undermine the new government there.